Right. This is a post from CENTCOM, the US Central Command. This is a very irresponsible post on their part, but it says, claim the Iranian commander for the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy recently said on state owned media that no foreign vessels may pass through the Strait of Hormuz without being identified, tracked, and monitored by Iranian forces. Okay, that's the claim they're saying. And then they're saying, fact. What's the fact? Or what are the facts? Is that claim from the Iranians, or this Iranian claim, is that correct or not? Is that legit or not? Now they're saying fact or fact check. They're giving us a fact check. So they're saying fact. Iran does not control the Strait of Hormuz. Now I'm saying, and we're saying that's a lie. That's not a fact because Iran is in control of the Strait of Hormuz at this point, at this moment in time, or at this time. Iran is in control of the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, then it says it remains an international waterway. US forces are positioned and prepared to keep it that way. But it's not that way right now. And if any Chinese ships are passing through the Strait of Hormuz, that's with Iran's permission. As I've already shared my download, my vision that I had, that, the Chinese were negotiating with Iran behind the scenes. So maybe Iran is cooperating with the Chinese a little bit to this extent that they are letting the Chinese ship or ships, pass through the Strait of Hormuz. They are giving the Chinese ships or a Chinese ship, they are giving the Chinese ships safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz because the Chinese are negotiating with Iran behind the scenes. So that's that. Right. And now I'm just watching a short video from Iranian Navy commander and, what he's saying about America. Let me just play that here.
And because of this, we have seen that so far, no foreign vessel that we don't want here has entered our territorial waters up to now.
Right.
Rest assured, the Americans, well, they have planes. You've seen their equipment is there too.
Yeah. So he's saying, the Americans have the equipment, they have the planes, they have the vessels.
Have equipment, they have planes.
He's basically talking about, the American military might.
They have vessels. The
They have
aircraft carrier
vessels.
is 320 meters long with 70,
They
45
have,
planes on it. They have
their
the best
aircraft
tools.
carriers. They
But
have
what
the
don't they have?
best. They have the best. What is he saying here? They have the best.
They have vessels.
They
The
have
aircraft
vessels.
carrier is 320 meters long with 70, 45 planes on it. They have the best tools.
They have the best tools.
But what don't they have?
But what don't they have is what he's saying. Let me finish that.
Don't have faith.
But what don't they have?
Rest assured, the Americans, well, they have planes. You've seen their equipment is there too. They have equipment, they have planes, they have vessels. The aircraft carrier is 320 meters long with 70, 45 planes on it. They have the best tools. But what don't they have? They don't have faith.
That's it. That's what the Iranian Navy commander is saying at the end. And this is significant. I mean, you shouldn't ignore this. At the end, he's saying, but what don't the Americans have? They have their military might, but what don't they have? They don't have faith, is what the Iranian Navy commander is saying, which means he's bringing up religion and faith again. Or, well, he is bringing up religion and faith as well, I should say, because I've already said this in my previous videos that religion plays a big role when it comes to Iran. You cannot bypass religion when it comes to dealing with Iran. And, this Navy commander is saying that, oh, okay, they have this and they have that. He's talking about the American military might, but they don't have faith. Well, maybe, he shouldn't be making such a general statement like that when it comes to that, because I'm sure there are American soldiers who are Christians who do have a religion and they do have faith as well. If not all of them, then I'm sure there are many who do, even when it comes to the American military and American soldiers. So, but my point remains, and that is that religion plays a big role when it comes to Iran. Religion plays a big role when it comes to Iran. So you cannot avoid that when it comes to Iran, or frankly speaking, when it comes to any Muslim country. So, then, we're talking about the whole of the Middle East as well. And I've also been noticing a little bit on the news that, um, I actually saw the French president, President Macron, visit Syria recently. And I think President Trump went to Turkey and met the Turkish President Erdogan. And of course, President Trump has already been to the Middle East, at least to Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar. Um, so, all of you Western, yeah, of course, and there's been Western diplomats visiting the region, visiting the Gulf region, the Middle Eastern countries as well for negotiations. But, presidents like President Trump and now even President Macron having to go to the Muslim world, having to turn towards the Muslim world because of this war with Iran. But what's missing? They don't have a Muslim representative with them. They don't have anyone like me who understands the Muslim world, who understands their religion, their faith, who is familiar with all of that, who understands their Islamic traditions, um, and is familiar with, some of the Islamic history, or just the fact that I could make communication happen with their Prophet Muhammad, even if it is from the spirit world at this point. But still, I'm sure there are Muslims out there who would be open to that, because they all believe that soul or spirit, which is ruh for Muslims, that exists. They all believe in the existence of a soul or spirit or ruh. So if the soul or spirit or ruh of their Prophet Muhammad, wants to come through me and communicate with them and wants to talk to them and wants to negotiate with them, then I'm sure there would be someone who would be open minded and who would be willing and who would be open minded to listen, who would be willing to listen. There would have to be someone. That's why my presence is needed. That's why you world leaders like President Macron, even you're going to the Muslim world now, even you're having to turn to the Muslim world now with your recent visit to Syria. President Trump has already been visiting, the Muslim world. And his recent trip to Turkey. So who's missing? I'm missing. I need to be included into the picture here because you are not familiar with their religion. You are not familiar with their history. You are not familiar with their, traditions. You are not familiar with their mindset. You are not familiar with their Prophet Muhammad. I am. So, what are you going to talk to them about? What can you talk to them about? There's if you could talk to them about their religion, their faith, their Prophet Muhammad, Allah, you may have more of a chance with them. But you cannot do that. But I can. So you're just wasting your time trying to, go to the Muslim world and Muslim countries and trying to talk to them. And you don't really understand a thing about them. You don't really know how they tick, how they work, and how their mindset is, and what makes them tick. Basically, I do. And that's where I could come in handy. But hey ho, you don't want to involve me. You don't want to include me. So you're just wasting your time, basically, because look at what's going on. You know, you can try and negotiate all you want. You can go to the Muslim world all you want. But what keeps happening? The bombs, the missiles, the drones just keep flying around and keep exploding. And the attacks just keep happening. Because there's no understanding. There's no understanding happening between the countries and their leaders, the politicians, the world leaders. At this point, frankly speaking, this is my personal opinion and observation, but frankly speaking, both the US or America and Iran are at fault because I can see that, President Trump just keeps attacking Iran. He's not stopping, even when, we're still talking to him. I'm still talking to him. We're still talking to him. His star family, the Arcturians, our star family, the Arcturians, we're still talking to him through here, through me, through this channel. But I can see he's still attacking Iran. He's not stopping. And then, of course, Iran keeps retaliating. And even when it comes to Iran, holding the Strait of Hormuz hostage, Iran holding the Strait of Hormuz hostage means that Iran is holding the rest of the world hostage. Even those countries that are not attacking Iran. So, I mean, the whole of the Middle East, Iran is attacking, or well, at least American assets, American US bases. But of course, Iran has attacked civilian targets as well in the Middle East. So, and, you know, Iran holding the Strait of Hormuz hostage means that Iran is holding the rest of the world hostage. And that's not right. And that's not fair. And that is going beyond self defense. I've already said that part. So that has to stop. That has to stop. But how? Religion has to be brought in. Religion and religious teachings, the Muslim holy book, the Quran, has to be brought into the picture. And only then Iran will begin to understand. And only then Iran will listen to anyone. Religion has to be brought into the picture. Islam has to be brought in to the picture. Religion has to be brought in. Only then Iran will begin to listen. Only then Iran will start to listen to anyone. Only then Iran will listen. And Iran will listen to their prophet, Prophet Muhammad. If Prophet Muhammad's soul, spirit, or ruh can be brought into the picture, can communicate with Iran and Iranian military and IRGC, and even Ali Khamenei's son, Mujtaba Khamenei, who's running the show right now, who's running things right now after Ali Khamenei's assassination as his successor in Iran. I think that's enough for now. If anything else comes up and if I want to share anything more, then I'll post another video. I'll post another message. So until then, take care. Stay safe if you can. Over and out.